If I had known this about women years ago, I would have avoided almost every mistake that kills attraction. And you probably could too. Most men are taught to win women with charm, niceness, and visible effort. They think being polite, funny, or attentive is enough. But female desire does not respond to words or logic. It responds to biology. Her instinct reads value, strength, and confidence instantly. No clever line or promise can change what her instinct feels. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He explained the hidden rules of attraction that most men never see. Women are selective, precise, and instinctively choose the man who shows competence, control, and stability. They ignore empty promises, notice theatrics, and prioritize real ability, the ability to lead, protect, and stay calm under pressure. Attraction is no longer about improvising or trying to impress. It is about being recognized for your true value. The mistake modern men make is giving affection, attention, and effort while their bodies signal neediness. They rush to prove themselves, offer constant availability, or act overly accommodating. Women do not choose the kindest man. They choose the man whose presence is steady, rare, and unshakable. Kindness without boundaries is weakness. Empathy without control is fragility. Availability without scarcity is desperation disguised as love. Once you understand this, you stop seeking approval and start building presence. Desire is not earned by being liked. It is activated by being recognized. The man who demonstrates competence, emotional control, and rarity awakens instinctive attraction naturally. Attraction is not a vote for compassion. It is a reading of value and strength. Why being too good hurts attraction? Many men believe that simply being kind, polite, and helpful will make women attracted to them. They think that if they are attentive, caring, and always trying to please, women will notice them, like them, and eventually fall in love. This is a common mistake. Attraction is not about being liked or winning approval. Machiavelli, the famous philosopher, understood this long ago. He explained that women are naturally drawn to men who show real competence, confidence, and presence. It is not the man who smiles the most or says the sweetest words who captures attention. It is the man who remains calm, composed, and steady no matter what happens. Being too good can actually reduce attraction. When a man gives too much without boundaries, he removes the tension that makes women feel drawn to him. Desire is not created by comfort or constant availability. It comes from the feeling that a man has value, independence, and control. If you are always agreeing, always trying to please, or always available, her instinct sees it as neediness. She may respect you, like you, or feel safe with you, but she will not feel that spark or pull that makes her genuinely interested. Kindness without limits can appear weak, and availability without boundaries makes a man predictable and ordinary. Predictability kills desire. Women do not just respond to words, they respond to action. They notice men who make decisions, take responsibility, and stay composed under pressure. Emotional control is one of the most attractive qualities a man can have. If a man becomes flustered, anxious, or reactive, she interprets that as low value. On the other hand, a man who stays steady and confident even when challenged communicates security, stability, and strength, qualities that naturally attract desire. In simple terms, women are drawn to proof, not promises. They notice what you do more than what you say. A man who sets boundaries, acts confidently, and balances strength with kindness is far more attractive than a man who only talks, over-explains, or gives without limit. The good man who seeks to be liked may earn respect, but he rarely inspires true desire. To create lasting attraction, you must demonstrate competence, independence, and self-mastery. Not just niceness or approval-seeking power in presence. Attraction is not built on what you say. It is built on what you show. Women do not fall for clever words or constant explanations. They respond to instinct. Their minds are wired to notice strength, stability, and confidence before logic even kicks in. Smiling too much, talking too much, or over-explaining yourself can actually make you seem needy or insecure. Even if you think you are being charming, these signals quietly reduce attraction. What truly matters is calmness, control, and self-possession. A man who can stay steady under pressure, who does not let emotions dictate his actions, shows strength and reliability. Women sense this instinctively. Your posture, your energy, and the way you carry yourself speak louder than any words. Presence communicates value before you even say a thing. Machiavelli explained centuries ago that the most magnetic men are those who master themselves. A man who controls his emotions remains calm, and acts deliberately attracts naturally. Women are drawn to action and composure, not to promises or talk about strength. Control and confidence shown through behavior are far more appealing than explanations or attempts to impress. Stop trying to perform to get attention. Stop justifying yourself to be understood. Every explanation, every effort to prove your value lowers it. Instead, focus on being the kind of man whose presence alone is enough. Stand straight, maintain calm eye contact, and project confidence with your energy and actions. Speak only when necessary, and let your silence speak for you. Presence communicates your worth better than words ever could. Calmness signals competence. Silence signals authority. A steady, composed man who does not react to every situation is seen as unshakable. This is what separates the man who fades into the background from the man who is remembered, respected, and deeply desired. How women test your value. Every time a woman teases you, challenges you, or acts distant, it usually isn't personal. These moments are not rejections. They are tests. Her brain is designed to measure a man's value instinctively. For thousands of generations, women needed to quickly identify men who could provide stability, make strong decisions, and remain calm under pressure. When she tests you, she is checking if your actions match your true self. If you are steady, confident, and in control, or if you are anxious, reactive, or easily swayed. Most men fall into the same trap. They interpret these tests as criticism or a personal attack. They feel the need to explain themselves, justify their behavior, or prove their worth. The problem is that every explanation, every defense, and every attempt to convince her communicates insecurity. Reacting emotionally signals that you are not in command of your own mind or energy, which is one of the most important traits her instinct seeks in a partner. Machiavelli would call this the difference between pretending to be strong and truly being strong. A man who reacts to every comment or situation gives away his power. A man who observes calmly, remains composed, and responds thoughtfully shows genuine control. When a woman senses that nothing can shake you, no test, no provocation, no pressure, her desire grows. She instinctively recognizes stability, competence, and emotional mastery. These qualities are far more attractive than words, promises, or attempts to impress. Passing her tests isn't about clever lines or perfectly timed responses. It's about managing your own energy and behavior. Calm gestures, measured actions, and steady expressions communicate more than any explanation ever could. A controlled gaze signals confidence. A composed posture signals security. A slow, intentional voice signals authority. These subtle cues are the language her instincts understand, and they create attraction automatically. Tests come in many forms. They might be playful teasing, seemingly cold behavior, indirect comments, or small contradictions in what she says. She may ask questions to see how decisively you act, or provoke minor challenges to gauge your reaction. Each test is an opportunity to show that you are grounded, self-sufficient, and capable of handling life without losing your center. The man who stays calm, composed, and unshakable communicates that his value doesn't depend on approval, which is irresistibly attractive. It's important to remember that her tests are not designed to hurt you or push you away. They are her way of measuring whether you are someone she can trust, rely on, and invest her energy in. If she senses real stability and emotional strength, her desire will increase naturally. Desire grows from the perception of value, not from comfort, attention, or charm. Over time, consistent, calm and measured responses build fascination and attraction far more effectively than gifts, words or over-explaining ever could. When you respond to her tests with calmness and observation, you are not being distant or cold. You are showing that your value is constant. You are demonstrating that you are a man with self-control, leadership and stability, the traits her instincts have been programmed to prioritize for thousands of generations. Desire is not something she gives. You activate it by showing that you are steady, strong, and reliable. Every time you maintain control, resist reacting impulsively, and remain composed, you reinforce the idea that your value is independent of her moods or opinions. Silence, steady expression, and thoughtful responses are worth far more than 10 explanations. This is the behavior that makes a man magnetic, respected, and naturally desired. Women instinctively recognize it, and over time their attraction deepens. Understanding this changes everything. Tests are not obstacles, they are opportunities. Each test she gives is a chance to prove your consistency, self-control, and inner strength. A man who masters his presence, energy, and reactions doesn't just pass these tests. He turns them into signals that increase desire, respect, and fascination. This is the real key to becoming unforgettable: independence, mystery, and life purpose. One of the strongest secrets of attraction is independence. A man who has his own life goals and ambitions becomes naturally magnetic to women. She notices not only how you act when you are with her, but also the life you lead outside of her presence. If a man is always available, constantly waiting for her attention, or focused only on being liked, he loses value in her eyes. Being predictable makes him forgettable. On the other hand, when a man has direction, purpose, and his own priorities, he becomes rare and intriguing. Scarcity and independence automatically increase attraction. A man who is constantly growing, building his own world and pursuing his goals, signals that he is unique and valuable. Women are drawn to men who have momentum in life. Men who are not dependent on validation, praise, or approval. When she realizes that your time, attention, and presence are choices rather than necessities, desire begins to awaken. She feels a tension that pulls her toward you, a fascination with a man who is independent, strong, and steady. Attraction follows men who create their own path, not those who simply exist to be admired or wanted. Machiavelli understood this principle long ago. True power is not about controlling or dominating others. It comes from mastery over yourself. A man who controls his emotions, his time, and his energy demonstrates real strength. This kind of control communicates confidence, security, and authority. Women instinctively recognize men who handle life calmly and make decisions deliberately, even under pressure. That instinctive recognition triggers attraction because it signals competence and reliability. Mystery plays a critical role in this dynamic. A man who reveals everything about himself too quickly, who overshares or acts predictably, loses the tension that fuels desire. Women are drawn to men who cannot be fully read, whose actions and intentions carry a subtle layer of unpredictability. Mystery communicates independence and self-possession. It shows that a man is not defined by her approval, yet he can choose to include her in his world. That choice, rather than effort to impress, creates genuine desire. A man who combines purpose, independence, and mystery generates an energy that women instinctively notice. He is focused on something bigger than being wanted. He invests in his life, his projects, and his own growth first. When she sees this, attraction arises naturally. Desire comes from recognizing that he is rare, self-sufficient, and capable of managing life.